I'm just, because I did physics in high school, and I regretted that decision immensely because I wanted to be a vet and I forgot to take biology, which I'm kind of glad I didn't become a vet because I think I might have killed myself probably, because apparently vets have crazy high suicide rates, unfortunately, because of how awful that job actually is. But yeah, I took physics, but I don't remember, like, all I did was build a trebuchet. That's all I remember doing in physics class, is that I built a trebuchet and I had a great time because I built a trebuchet, but then all of the exam and science stuff, I completely whiffed. Yes, it is very Clio coded that I did build a trebuchet. Yeah, vets are very like forgotten about when it comes to like mortality, well, suicide rates, because of just how kind of awful their job is in that they have to put pets down, right? How did you go from wanting to be a vet to getting a PhD in history? Yeah, so when I was younger, I wanted to be a vet because I like animals. And then when it came to high school, when I was in I think for my final few years, I was in the same school. But I moved to this new school, and they were like, okay, what do you want to do for your, is it O-levels? O-levels. A-levels is before O-levels. And then I just completely forgot, because basically the teacher was just like, here's what would be good for you, based on your results. And they said like physics, English extension, history, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I just completely forgot that to do veterinary sciences in university, you probably need to do biology. And then when they were after like career advice, I said, well, I'm not really smart, but I can write kind of well. And then the career advisor was like, have you thought about journalism? And I was like, oh, no, I haven't. I got put down for my original degree that I applied for was journalism and political science. And in the first semester of political science, I was like, this is fucking awful. I hate this. This is miserable. I hate pol science. So I swapped out of pol science and I swapped into history instead. So I did journalism history. And then after that, I did a career in journalism. And then I briefly, after my journalism career kind of fizzled out, I did like half a semester of, actually no, I did like 6 weeks of an IT degree, thinking, because I listened to my friends, and my friends were like, get a degree in IT, Clio, you'll be fine. You can get a good job. Good thing I didn't do this. Because then I would have been like a lot of people in chat and unemployed in the IT career, unfortunately. But I hated it. I'm fucking horrendous at IT. I was doing Hello World. I just didn't stick. I was like, I can't think like this. My brain does not think logically, apparently. Or doesn't I can't think how to process code in my mind. I'm fucking stupid in this regard, I guess. So I dropped that, and then I just swung past on my way out after dropping out from my IT degree. I spoke to my old professor, and he was like, oh, Clio, how you doing? And I was like, I'm doing well. I kind of flunked out of my career, and I just flunked out of a IT degree, and I don't know what to do. And he was just talking to me, and he was like, well, have you thought about doing your postgrad? That's something. And I was like, well... So I thought about it, and then I was like, yes, I want to be even more unemployable. So I did a postgrad in history, and then somehow flunked my way into getting a job because someone got pregnant. And then after that became a VTuber, and now I'm here. It is kind of crazy that I've managed to do that. Is that I somehow fell upwards in that regard. In that I almost did competitive unemployment, yes. I almost did. I literally failed upwards. I did! My journalism career was just miserable because I was actually just feeling miserable. I was like, fuck, this industry sucks and everyone in it fucking sucks. I hate this. and I couldn't get stable work. It was all just contracted and shit and awful, and so many people working in that industry are kind of not very nice people. I've said the story, right, where I was working at this newspaper, and a person I was working with was doing like a charity thing and was after suggestions for which charity to support, and I suggested this one charity that helps homeless people, and he was like, I don't give a fuck about the homeless. I was like, what? He's like, I need something good, something people care about, and apparently people don't care about the homeless people, which is maybe true, unfortunately, but just like kind of an evil thing to say. Anyway, that career flopped. Couldn't get any stable work, all just contracted nonsense, and I was miserable, and I was just feeling like shit all the time, because it's kind of soul-crushing work. And then, yeah, I was like, oh, fuck, what do? I don't know what to do with my life. Did the 3 to 6 weeks of IT, went, oh, my brain can't comprehend this at all. My brain is not built for this sort of work. Bailed out of that, and somehow ended up doing postgrad, and here we are. Because students said basically it's that, plus that sort of career projection, then COVID happening, and then now I'm a VTuber, and it's gone quite well. Quite the pipeline. It is! I've had a weird career trajectory, I think. You ever win a Pulitzer? No, they give that to, like, serious, like, journalistic work, not me going out and interviewing people on the street saying, hi, what do you think of the latest political scandal? And them going, fuck off, journalist, and moving on with the day, and I'm being like, yeah, I fucking hate having to do vox pop segments. Fucking miserable. Absolutely miserable experience. Just going out there and asking people, like, their opinions on the matter. And let me tell you guys, you can look at some people and see just, like, the nicest person ever. You can see, like, the nicest person ever, and you're probably thinking, oh, this person's mild-mannered, probably. No, they're gonna say the most batshit insane things ever. Some people are actually just unhinged. And there's, you know, nothing wrong with that, but I've heard some crazy things. Like, I had, there was something about the trustworthiness of the police, I think, once, that I was I had to do a vox pop stuff about the trustworthiness of the police, because some scandal happened, involving, well, the trustworthiness of the police. Anyway, I was asking someone what they thought, and he just kept talking about immigrants. I was like, so what do you think about, how do you feel about the police? Can you still trust them? And then he just started talking about immigrants to me. I was like, what? Huh? Like, he was just blaming the fact that the police weren't reliable on foreigners. I was like, what? What do you mean? And then you just have to, like, smile and nod, and you have to be like, yep, just keep, yep. What do you think about that? Yeah. You worked in print or TV? I worked in TV, radio, print, online, basically everything, because you have to just be able to do whatever, because it's all just, when I was trying to get jobs, it was all just contracts, like short-term contracts filling in for people. There were never any actual spaces available. Unfortunately. Don't do a journalist. You can be a game journalist now. I did almost pivot into like getting a role as they were after an editor in, I think it was just like electronics. It was just a regular mainstream media company, and they were after a new editor for their like electronics department, and I almost got the job, but unfortunately I didn't. But I could have been working and going out to like E3 and stuff. Well, yes, E3 was still going back then. I could have somehow managed to be able to go to like CES and E3 and all those sorts of events, and with a press pass and talking to people, but yeah, no. I was almost games journalist, Clio, yes. Why do reporters do the walk and talk shots when they interview people? You would have to ask the video editors. It's normally the cameramen and editors that are deciding the shots rather than the journalist. It's just, I think, one of the things that they talk about in, at least when I was doing my degree, was that you can't linger on shots for too long because the human attention span is not that long. So if a shot lasts for more than 5 seconds, you're failing, because you have to, unless there is motion and talking within a scene, you can't linger on it for too long, which is why maybe for some things you have to be faster and snappier, and it's really annoying. Also, fun fact for any interview scene, they don't actually have 2 cameras to set up interviews. There is 1 camera. So they'll do the interview and have all the questions be asked to the person being interviewed, and then once they're gone, they will then reshoot all the questions being taken to by the journalist. So every time you're seeing an interview between 2 people sitting down, if they cut to the journalist saying a question, that's happened like 20 minutes later. And also all the shots of the journalist going, you know, they do the classic nodding their head to show that they're listening and paying attention. That is filmed after the interview. Why? Because they only have 1 cameraman. So all of that is how it works. That's a little behind the scenes thing for you. That's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. You have to do your interview, and then afterwards you do your side of the interview. You have to film the questions being asked and then some reactions, and it's not that bad. But basically that's just how it works. Can't the cameraman carry 2 cameras? No, he's carrying it on his shoulder. You know the on the shoulder? That's what he's carrying. He has 2 shoulders. Yeah, but he can't be in 2 spaces at once. And also they want to film, you know how you get all the B-roll footage of sometimes people being before or after an interview, and maybe they say something a little bit ooh under their breath, or whatnot. That's because the cameras are always rolling. If you see a cameraman with his camera on your shoulder, treat it like it's a loaded gun, basically, because that shit is possibly recording as it's on his shoulder. So don't say anything dangerous that might incriminate you. Tripods exist, yeah, but like the journalists at the ABC, for example, aren't going to be busting out a little like their tripod depending on the shot. If you're at a press event, the cameraman will have a tripod. If you are, for example, interviewing a sports star, for example, which is, I've done that. If you're interviewing a sports star, you are sitting in the stands, most likely. And the stands, you cannot have a tripod on, because it's the, what's the word for it? The thingy stands, where it's seats going up. You can't have a tripod on there, so the cameraman is having it on his shoulder. So yeah.